Welcome to the Ranger Dress, but I'm Philip, and today I'm talking about the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. I don't need to talk that fast, because today is actually a longer video. I'm talking about bouts 9 and 10 in the first round of the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. Before I get into that, if you like this tournament, if you like these videos that I make and my reviews, I would really appreciate your support. If you're wondering how you can support me, I have an Etsy shop where I sell pens that I've made, some of which are made from barrel staves, many of which are made from scrap wood that I've encountered. I also have bowls for sale. Almost all of them are made from salvage wood, scraps, offcuts, bits and bobs. If you like what I'm doing and you would like to support me to allow me to continue to make these videos and my reviews, I would really support it. There's a link in the description down below to my Etsy shop. Now, let's talk about Bout 9. This is another one where I don't have a whole lot of examples from these distilleries, but let's just work our way through. Let's start with the Bondurant Brothers Distillery. Now, they're one of the distilleries that primarily focuses on moonshine, but because they sell a bourbon, they qualify. So, a little bit about Bondurant Brothers Distillery. They are, like many other moonshine distilleries in the Commonwealth of Virginia, basically directly connected to the history of illicit moonshining in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Robert Bondurant is descended from one of the most famous distillers in Virginia history, and he has taken this heritage of distilling and brought forth a moonshine-focused distillery that does produce a bourbon. I unfortunately don't have anything from them, but I'm working on that. Next up, we have one of the really interesting entries, the probably newest distillery in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Blue Shepherd Spirits in Luray, Virginia. I don't have anything from them. They opened their doors in 2022. They are so new that they don't have any products in VA ABC stores, and they don't have online sales. So, I am begging you to please, if you are passing through Luray or near Luray, just swing through, pay them a visit, buy some whiskey, try their stuff. They need you to survive. And they are an extremely cool distillery. They're founded by two first responders, a paramedic and a firefighter, and the founders take in difficult dogs and adopt them, take care of them. And in fact, the inspiration for the distillery's name is a somewhat difficult German Shepherd named Bruce. If you go to their website, he's the first name listed on their employees page. You won't meet him because he isn't fond of people, but he looks like a beautiful, handsome boy. And you can see his likeness on the tops of all their bottles, which is extremely cool. And I am trying to figure out a way to get myself down to Luray to visit them and buy a bottle or two. Next up, we have the one that I have an example from, Lost Whiskey Club, aka Greenspur Distillery in Fairfax. They are an experiential distillery, meaning that they have a focus on an experience. They don't just make whiskey, but whiskey is the focus. They sell, as you saw, tiny, narrow little bottles with really beautiful labels, beautiful minimalist labels, and I'll talk about those when I talk about that whiskey. Again, I think I've already talked about them before, but I'm going to do it again. And they do a darn good job of blending and bottling, and I have enjoyed everything that I've had from them. They're interesting to talk to when you see them at events. They're another distillery that I've been meaning to get around to visiting and just haven't had an opportunity to yet, but I will. So, Lost Whiskey, I'm coming. I promise I won't be too mean to you about your labels. Too mean. I'm going to be a little bit mean. And that brings us to the last whiskey in Bout 9. Sorry, last distillery in Bout 9. Trial and Error Distilling, who don't really specialize in whiskey. Much like Bondurant Brothers, who focus on moonshine. Their focus is on other spirits, but they do produce a hop whiskey, an American whiskey, a straight whiskey, and a maple whiskey. Hopped, hopped, American straight. Yeah. Um, where they really shine is their spirit infusions and liqueurs. Fantastic stuff. Really interesting people to talk to. I recommend trying out their stuff if you see it. They are really kind people. They make great spirits. That's Bout 9. Bout 10 has a couple of heavy hitters in it. Starting off with Bare Knuckle. Well, sorry, KO Distilling, which produces Bare Knuckle. This is their wheat whiskey. They also have a rye, high rye bourbon, and a more standard bourbon. They also have Distillers Reserves bottling, which is a bonded bottling. It's really good. They're in Manassas. Nothing that they sell, apart from their bonded offerings, is particularly old. This is the oldest bare knuckle bottle that I have, and it's 49 months old. That's a month over 4 years. They usually range between a little over 2 years to a little under 3 years, at least from looking at bottles around me. They make darn good stuff. It punches way above its weight class. And the folks who run it are really kind and have answered questions for me in the past. Next up is probably one of the heaviest hitters in the Commonwealth of Virginia. A surprise every year that they haven't made it to the Final Four, except for, I think, last year they almost made it. When you think single malt whiskey, if you live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, this is what you picture. The Virginia Distillery Company is one of the premier American single malt whiskey distilleries across the entire United States, and their reputation carries far beyond. They are, without a doubt, one of the biggest reputations in Virginia distilling. And for good reason. They make darn good stuff. If you're interested, I will drop a link in the description down below to the recording of the Single Malt Frontier interview with Amanda Beckwith, their master blender. Wonderful person, wonderful whiskey. And that brings us to, let me double check my list. Devil's Backbone Distillery. This is one that's a little bit weird. So Devil's Backbone is primarily a brewery. They make some fantastic beers. They also operate a distillery. It seems like a lot of what they do is for their canned cocktails, but they do bottle a bourbon, Wood Duck, and I am going to have to make it down to their base camp location to buy a bottle of it, because I want a bottle from every Virginia Commonwealth distillery. I'm halfway there. I've got just a few more to get. And by a few more, I mean 27 more. I will make it. I will visit Devil's Backbone. Let's see. And then Sandy River Distillery. Excuse me. Okay. So Sandy River Distillery is another distillery that has a long history in the Commonwealth. They can tie their distilling roots all the way back to the early days of distilling in Virginia. And I don't mean, Prohibition moonshining. I mean pre-Prohibition. The owners went from making beer to making whiskey. I've only encountered their whiskeys a couple times. A friend of mine has a bottle of their 1840, I want to say, their younger bourbon, and it is pretty darn good stuff. Another one that I don't have an example from. I'm working on it, guys. You can accelerate my acquisition of Virginia whiskey by supporting me, by buying from my Etsy shop. I'll stop shilling for myself to finish up by saying that they are yet another pretty well-regarded distillery within the Commonwealth of Virginia, which means that that bout, KO Distilling, Virginia Distilling Company, Sandy River, those are some pretty heavy-hitting names, all in one bout. I can't wait to see who comes out on top. As usual, links in the description down below for the polls. Remember, vote, vote, vote. Instagram, Twitter, you can vote in both places. I don't think you even have to log into Twitter to vote. I would really appreciate you guys putting your vote in. Support your favorite craft distillers, because without you, they don't continue. And I want Virginia to continue to be one of the beacons of craft distilling. With all that said, I think that covers pretty much everything. If you like these videos, please consider buying bowls or pens. Remember to vote. The links are in the description down below. A link with the Single Malt Frontier interview with Amanda Beckwith will be in the description down below. And it's been great talking to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.